All right, let's get into the agenda, the top of it. Tuesday night is tribunal night, it seems, every week this season. Melbourne is chancing its arm to see if they can beat the ban for Kozzy Pickett and have him against the Lions on Thursday night. David Zeta is following this case. David, welcome back.
Hello, Jared. As you say hi to me, the tribunal has just come back now from their deliberation, so good timing as always.
Do you know yet, or are you going to try to do two things at once here?
I can try and find out for you, or I can predict it for you. Which would you like?
No, we'll wait till you actually know.
OK.
So you step us through what's happened. Yeah. And then hopefully that will bring us to the verdict.
Hopefully it will. So Melbourne said this was careless conduct, but Melbourne argued this was a brace, not a bump. They said this should be low impact, not medium impact. A low impact, for context, would mean a fine rather than a one-match suspension for Kozzy Pickett. Adrian Anderson said this was not a bump, it was a brace, and therefore the potential to cause injury that we normally associate with bumps shouldn't be as big a factor when considering impact. Kysaiah Pickett's statement was read into evidence. He said, "My intention was to catch the ball. I collided with Soligo and then followed the ball to make the next contest until the umpire blew the whistle. I had no intention of bumping him. I was trying to intercept the ball in the air." Adrian Anderson said Pickett minimised the potential for injury with his body positioning and deceleration as he jumped. Pickett's fist was clenched. He was not clenched, rather, at the moment of impact, and Soligo wasn't even assessed. The AFL said, "You can call this what you want. This is still appropriately medium impact," and that's because the extent of force at the moment of impact, in all cases, the tribunal must consider the potential to cause injury, and the body language of Pickett, therefore also the body being tucked in, leading with lower arm, had the potential to increase rather than reduce the force of impact. The act of jumping to smother carried not only the inherent risk of head-high contact, but real potential to cause injury. It's been a very long, legal jargon has been thrown around a fair bit in this case, even more than most, but we should have a decision very shortly. That's how the case has played out to this point.
All right, we'll talk amongst ourselves while you go and collect that verdict. So there's an element that's true at the starting point, is Pickett does go to collect the ball in mid-air.
Open fingers.
But then he does turn and make contact. So this swings on the question, and you can ask, does it have genuine potential to cause injury?
Oh, well, I smiled when that potential to cause injury comes out, because I think the prosecution always says that in line ball cases, but there's potential to cause injury in everything in football.
So boil it right down to this one. Does that have the potential to cause injury?
Yeah, it does. But, I mean, a lot of things in football, I'll say it again, Jared, has potential. I think there was a reasonable argument to go from medium contact down to low.
Yep.
I'm not going to be surprised if he gets off with a fine. Everyone was quick to jump on Kozzy, and I looked at it probably more than I have, about 8 times. And it is rare for players to jump and try and grab the ball out of the air. Some players have got the knack of being able to do that.
If he'd got the ball, it would have all been fine, but he didn't. All right, so Jeff Gleeson's just finished reading the verdict. How's it landed, David?
He must be tuning into the 360, Jared. So, Kysaiah Pickett's one-match ban stands. It is still medium impact. It is still a reportable offence. Now, the reasons are just coming through literally seconds ago. They find they had the potential to cause injury. A concussion or facial injury is a realistically possible outcome, and there is ultimately the medium classification stands. So, Kozzy Pickett, the Melbourne Football Club, they made a very lengthy case for Adrian Anderson. It's failed. He misses against the Brisbane Lions this week, Jared.
Hey, who was Professor Cole, the mystery figure in this case?
Well, we'll never know, Jared, because Professor Cole was never relied upon, because that was trying to determine that this was a brace and not a bump. But as the AFL said, you don't need to worry about that, Adrian, because we're telling you, we don't care if you think it's not a bump. We just think this is a reportable offence regardless, which Melbourne admitted to, and that regardless of what you say about the potential to cause injury, it is appropriately graded medium impact. So his evidence was declared obsolete and it wasn't used. But ultimately, the one-match ban stands for Kozzy.
Excellent. Good on you, David. Thank you.
Professor Cole.
Yeah.
Well, with the spanner in the conservatory.
That's exactly what I was thinking when it came through. All right, so Kozzy Pickett bans. That's his third one.
Well, that's Cluedo, if people don't know. It's an old game.
Third suspension in 13 months. Start of last season, end of last season, start of this season. So, technique, temperaments...
No, all of that.
Yeah,
all of that. He's got a rein in his want for the physicality, which is the body-on-body stuff. And I think he knows that, and I think Melbourne knows that. They try to argue that down, but he got a week. But the overall, 3 times in that short of a period, there's something wrong. Is it technique? I think it's his desire for the body
contact, doesn't he?
It reminds him of a very young Byron Pickett.
Yep.
Where he's not afraid of the body contact, but the game's changed and You have to face the consequences. You're going to be without Kozzy Pickett. Does he have to change his attitude? Does he have to change his technique?
It's an interesting one. Personally, from a broader perspective, we are doing a lot of work on tackling technique in general. Chocker Williams is huge on that. So from that point of view, we are doing a lot of tech. I know we did it yesterday on, if a player's driving, then they're ahead of us, how can we, be on the side more and not giving away free kicks? So I think we gave away a few free kicks from high tackles. So from Kozzy's perspective, I don't want him to change the way he plays. I think he plays with an intensity and an edge about him that I as a teammate, I love playing with. His pressure in the forward 50 is awesome. Yes, I would love to have him play week in, week out and not be missing for suspension, and that's something that I know that Kozzy and it would be frustrated with the most. He loves playing footy. He's really passionate about it. He loves kicking goals, loves playing with the boys. So from that point of view, I know he'd be bitterly disappointed with his action, but I think I don't want him to lose that edge because I love the way he plays. I think it's such an X factor, such an excitement to the game. And I know opposition players, like I'm scared at training when he's trying to tackle me and trying to chase me down. So I don't want him to lose that aspect of his game.